watch your head, heart, soul. Watch your head and heart and soul. Watch your head, heart, soul. Watch your head and heart and soul. Watch your head and heart and soul. Watch your head, watch your heart, watch your soul. Cause they watch the clock talk and tic-tac your toes. Coming up on my friends and the expose your foes. Frenemies, enemies, both is identical. Whoa, like beat with wolves and cheap clothes. Bros will snatch the clothing off your back then smack your ass.
Okay, really, this young lady right here pressured me into doing more of a natural birth. And she was like, go to a birthing center, try out the water birth and yada yada you. So I looked more into it, and I'm happy, you know, I went with that experience, because I mean, like, everything through and the whole time I was like, it's pain with a purpose, it's pain with a purpose, you know, the whole time I was in pain or whatever. And I had like 15 people in the room with me. It wasn't like a real private experience. I recorded it and everything. I want to put it on your website, but my husband's like, no. But I mean, overall, like, I enjoyed the experience, even through the pain. Like, afterwards, I didn't think I was going to cry after I gave birth to her. But when I seen her, I just started crying and stuff, because it was all worth it. You know what I'm saying?
First baby?
Yeah, it was my first baby, like, going through all that pain and all this. And then when I finally seen her, and I'm going to be emotional, y'all, because I'm pregnant again. So I don't want to do so much time, because I'm really not trying to cry on Shaina.
Cry if you do.
But no, seriously, I don't want to go too deep into it. And I was thinking about the, what is it called, Lotus?
The Lotus birth?
Yeah, did any of you ladies do that?
I know what it is. I don't.
You say yes?
I thought about it.
You thought about it? Like,
where I was at the time. I just was dealing with other people's energies and them kind of coming in on my decision making. I wasn't able to deal with all of that, so I just kind of had to just be at peace with however that time needed to go. You know?
Okay, because I was thinking about it with my first one, and then I was like, it's my first baby. I don't know, it's a lot of, maintenance. You have to make sure you keep the right herbs on it, the placenta and stuff, let it fall off. With the umbilical cord, you let it fall off naturally when it's supposed to fall off. The Lotus experience or whatever it's called. But overall, I mean, I'll let you ladies talk about your natural birth experience.
I didn't have a natural birth experience, so I didn't. I didn't birth at home. I had, my eldest is 17, and then I have a 13-year-old. My son is 11, but he was a 10-pound baby. Mm-hmm. And gravity, it was over in 2 hours, so I didn't have the meds, and I didn't have what I would consider to be a natural birth, because I wasn't in a comfortable setting. I was in hospital. Mm-hmm. But it went fast, and I was able to listen to my body, because there was nothing they could do to help me. Yeah. You know, it's like, what are we doing? And they were saying, okay, here, and now we're ready, and time to push, and he's here. So,
you trying to pressure you at all into a C-section or anything?
Well, no, he was coming. Yeah. So it wasn't comfortable laying back. I just needed to sit up. Yeah. And gravity was like, well, come on out. Yeah. So he did it. And then he was 10 pounds, so they were like, oh my God, let's test him for this. And then I was like, well, let's just wait and see how things go. Exactly. Went fine. Yeah. Big boy. But
yeah. Definitely had a natural birth. I prepared for it. I thought I was preparing. I thought I prepared by watching all these whimsical and peaceful videos of these women giving birth, all peaceful. Like they made it seem like it was nothing. I studied, a little bit into just different elements, dancing during labor and orgasmic birthing and different concepts that were out there on the web, but when it came time, all of that was gone. I gave up. I completely gave up. I was done. Like, I was closing my legs, y'all. While she was coming out, I was done. For real. I mean, so it was because I really didn't prepare myself on the level of which I needed to understand what I was about to go through. Me thinking that, okay, it's going to be kind of like a bowel movement. That's what was on my mind. That's what was on my mind. So, except it was going to be more pain, but it literally felt like a knife was cutting me.
Straight up. So, like, if you had,
that's how I had to describe it.
Was your support team, like, did you have a good support team?
My mom, she started her nursing career in labor and delivery for about 10 years, and now she works in the operating room. I went to a birthing center, though, And she was very much against that whole
And that's what it was. You have to have, positive
people
energies.
that really understand. So she was there supporting me, and all of that. But at the same time, I could feel her energy, kind of questioning everything that they're doing and looking for something to be wrong. I didn't have that many people around because I knew I was going to be vulnerable, and I really didn't just want to have to share that like that. At the same time, I really saw how having somebody that kind of really would have put me in perspective in terms of what I was going through. Because everybody that was there, I'm like, y'all can't tell me nothing. Y'all not feeling this pain right now. I really went there like that. And, it was intense. They told me I looked like I was having an exorcism, like my face was coming up. But as soon as she came out, I was literally, I had so much energy. I was alive. Like after that moment when she came out, all that pain was gone. I was alive. Everybody else sleep. Like, oh my God, I just had so much energy. So. In general, I had a very good experience. Everything went well. I didn't have any major fears, but during that pain, I didn't know how to process that. So I'm eager to go through it again, to experience that and see, what ways I'll be able to learn from the last time. Yeah. I just needed to, reach out and really do some work before. I read the Birthing from Within, which is a really good book. I really enjoyed that book. It really talked about that warrior woman inside, in a sense, being able to. And I went into a trance at some point. I literally blacked out right when they told me to touch her head. I had a mirror and everything. I'm looking. I'm like, I don't want to see nothing.
I said the same thing. They said, do you want to see? I'm like, no, I don't get her out of me.
I touched her head though. Despite all of my reservations, and when I did that, I literally blacked up. I remember my hands just going up in the air. I had to release, and that's when she came, and I blacked out. So I can't even remember that process, her coming out.
And how old is she?
She's 15 months now.
Okay.
Her name is Lotus. I thought about the Lotus birth and a lot of other stuff, but I'm still nursing,
Yeah.
She doesn't have any vaccinations. I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible. Keep her out of the radar of this world as much as possible. And I'm learning, this process. Indeed. And I heard about the birthing place I went to from my auntie. Yes. She had her children there. So that gave me a little bit more peace of mind. Even I think you had some pregnancy experiences that I was trying to, see in a positive light.
Yes, I had 2 natural births. I was a pregnant mother that wanted everything to be perfect, and I wanted this bubble baby, crazy. So I was vegan, and I only wanted everything that I ate given to my child. So I saw this is a seed. So whatever I put in this child, it gotta be pure and true and real. And I was extreme. I was really extreme, and I super in shape and tapped into yoga before I even knew anything about yoga and being pregnant. I just was on the floor stretching all the time and everything like that. And I went to my midwife, and Bernadette never even dealt with anybody who was vegetarian vegan, so she was like, I don't even know what to tell you. And I was like, I got you. I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna make a book for you, so you can help the next person that comes in. I did it, and I gave it to her. I was like, okay, now based on what I've given you, now you tell me how much or what should I eat and everything. And so that worked, and I gave her a copy of the book, and within 2 months, another lady came in who was vegan, and she was able to help her. So she knew it was real strict. I had a birth plan. I was like, oh, this gotta happen. I had the visualizations, I had the Buddha lamp, I had the candles, I had the incense, I had everything. I was like, I'm ready, I'm gonna do this. And then I get there, same thing. And half that stuff on that list went out the window. And I realized, okay, I'm even though we may try to plan certain things in our life, whatever is the divine flow will happen, and you just gotta trust that.
You gotta listen at you holding back, cause he got the knowledge. He said you the river, now you dropping out of college, and you telling all your girls that it's fine.
You realize how much power you have as a woman when contractions hit, and to see yourself make it through every contraction, you're like, okay, all right. And I zoned out. I didn't hear anybody, I didn't see anybody. I didn't really care. It was like me and baby and God at the very moment, and I was like, we're gonna have to figure this out. This is some intense work, and I was determined. I was like, you're gonna come out. We're gonna get you out. So yeah. So the first labor was 2 hours.
This baby is
I was
2 hours.
determined though. I was like, we're gonna breathe, we're gonna focus, and we're gonna connect.
Get this over with. Yes.
And if you listen to your body, if you really, because I mean, I had no idea you get into all fours like a dog. Like, I'm just listening to my body telling me to do it. I'm like, okay, I remember my dog getting into the same position, having their baby. But I'm like, this is obviously what I'm supposed to do. You know, I got into like squatting and birthing, like, where you get just really low. And I have somebody I can hold on to while the contractions are hitting. I have someone pressing down on them because I had a lot of back labor pain. Just that pressure, just pressing down in the area helped a lot with the assistance and that support. Like that helped.
It's important.
It helped. And just my grandmother, she couldn't really physically help, but just being there in my presence, beautiful. And when he came out, I was like, oh.
Yes, like she said, it's a relief, like a woof.
And then you have this overwhelming bliss of just like just happiness and joy, and you have this little one in front of you, and you're like, wow, like you did this, like this is only the beginning. And I realized this is what love is. This is what true love is. So natural birth is a beautiful thing. It is challenging, but you learn more about yourself if you really truly just tap in to experience that moment.
They don't want to be numb to that, you know. Just on that level, like they want you to think that you don't need to feel that. That's what puts everything in perspective. You know, that's what I was right there. Like this is called labor for a reason. It's work.
Oh yes,
It's not
I said it afterwards. I said, now I see why they call it labor.
It's not easy at all, and that was a testament indeed.
And
I understand that because my mom did not do a natural birth, and from what I gathered from the experience, she was really drugged up and not really not present at all. And I was actually born not breathing. So my father is the one who tells the stories of the process. And what I've learned throughout just studying, because I have friends who are having babies, I do believe there's a certain drug, like a hormone, that the mother gives off to the baby during the birthing process, and it is this thing called love. And when you're on so many drugs and you numb yourself from that process, you could also in some way shift that hormone and miss that experience and connection. And that's something that I got from a documentary that I watched about that, and I was like, oh wow, this puts a lot of things in perspective for myself and her relationship.
Right. I agree with that. I didn't have any. I have 3 boys, and I didn't have any natural births, and it's something that, in hindsight, I regret.
Yeah, me
Like,
too.
really, I really do. And I feel very frustrated a lot of times about it, and I try to my best to, when I come across women who are pregnant, to talk to them about having natural births, because even though I never experienced it for myself, as a photographer, I have had the opportunity of shooting natural births, and I see the difference. Having experienced myself not having one and being drugged up, I will say the only one, my last one, I was given medication kind of early on into, and it wore off. And so that one, I kind of, like halfway, kind of got to experience a little bit, but it's still not the same. I mean, I'm in a hospital, I'm laid up in a bed, and it's just, there's a disconnect. There is a disconnect that happened. And I was very adamant though about my babies being with me. Because the first thing they want to do is they want to put your babies in pressure.
Take your baby away from us.
And I'm like, why? Why? And I nurse. Like, that was one thing that for me was so important, was nursing. And I'm like, how am I going to nurse my baby if he off in a nursery? Like, bring my baby back to me, you know? So that was something that I was just like hell-bent, especially because on my first birth, I had complications. I ended up having hematoma and had 2 surgeries after my birth. And so,
And what is hematoma?
hematoma is swelling, like it's like blood clot swelling there. So, I mean, it was really bad.
Related to hemorrhaging.
Yeah, so basically you're hemorrhaging and, under the skin. So the skin swells up, really, it was rough. I couldn't walk for a while. So I'll say, like, in hindsight, that birth, I kind of it was good that I was there. If I wasn't in the hospital, it would have been, probably a really traumatic experience. It was traumatic, period, but I don't know, I just...
that's the fear, right?
It
Going to the
is.
hospital, we think that the hospitals are going to help us when these things go wrong, but in reality, I really feel like they kind of assist things in going wrong.
Exactly. That's true.
So it's like that was a question about what is this fear that we have when having natural birth. That's my sister. I told her about my friend.
Cause he got the knowledge. He said you the river, now you dropping out of college. And you telling all your girls that he's popping. But you know your friends fucking with him, even if it's in her head heart. You don't give a fuck because you sleeping in his bed. Start thinking that he feeling feelings deeper than don't speak today. Anything you ever felt before. So you thinking that it's time to get a little bit more serious about your building nations. He said chill, and now he's wearing on your patience. You patiently waiting for